So hopefully you can now see my presentation slides, Peter. Can we?
Yes, it's there.
It's there. Okay, great. So welcome again. As Peter said, I'm going to talk about my topic here, managing knowledge for digital transformation. Please allow me to share some information about my own company. It's just a small advertising block, just below 1 minute. So we are an organizational change management consultancy, and we focus on developing competitive strategies and business models for our customers. And our focus here is open innovation and disruptive technologies. So if it goes to organizational change, we are helping our customers with implementing new methodology, processes, creating new interfaces between departments and so on. And another focus is then, of course, providing training, coaching for the staff that needs new functionality, new tools, new skill sets. And the main focus of our work is working on attitude, behavior, and collaboration culture. And with a special focus on knowledge management and service. And that's the reason why we're talking together today about this topic here. We are based out of Hanover in Germany, and most of our customers from small, medium business size, they come from the German-speaking countries, so Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, with the exception of a few from the other European countries here. If you're going to talk about digital transformation, I just want to spend a minute or so with you about what is digital transformation for you and why it's so important during our times. So if we talk about digital transformation with our customers, with our prospects, the most often we see and we hear from them, oh, it's about improving our processes with all this digital, with all the new data. We are going to improve our processes, and that's fine. And we are going to be better at what we're doing today. Coming from paper and pencil, now with digitization, we are able to improve processes, getting quicker, getting faster, getting better quality, and so on. Of course, we think that's not the only area of change. We see together with this data that comes from digitalization, with digital transformation, we see a change in business models. So with data being available, showing information about how our customers use our products, our solutions, our services, we are able to change our business models at all. And the third area we see is that together with this data, again, giving insight about what our customers do with our products. So we learn more about our customers and being able to change our products, improve our products, being more customer focused, being more centralized on the behavior of our customers. And together we think talking about new forms of organization, new forms of organizational development within companies, and talking about new areas of work, this is where new work really takes place. So if you think of, for instance, you see I have little hair and it's, some parts it's gray already. So if you think of the times when turntables were present and we all of us had vinyl and we had records and we are listening to music from the turntables, if you just think of a company that would be still in market today and would produce this small little turntable diamond styluses, if they would come to the idea and say, hey, digital transformation, let's transform the way we are selling our products to our customer. They would come up with the idea, why not invent or why not introduce an ERP system? Why not have all digital processes? But in the end, nobody would need, or the majority of the customers would not need these turntable diamond styluses any longer, because we all switched to streaming models. We're all listening to Netflix and to Spotify and these kind of things today. So even if we are just thinking about improving processes with digitalization, it doesn't mean that we are still in business, because behavior and demand has changed so far. And if you think of one of the major players within the digital world, if you think of the Amazons of the world, if they would come to the idea, let's reinvent today, let's just think inventing Amazon again, would they just do the same thing? Would they just do work on processes and come up with new things, coming back from paper and pencil and going to computers? No, of course not. No, they would change their business models at all, and they would focus more on customers as today. So digital transformation, making a long story short, it's not just about improving processes, it's the whole of this. Talking about business models, talking about more customer focus, and of course, the processes we were talking about. So if that's the case, why we are thinking so difficult about this issue of digital transformation? Because we see the world around us is changing faster and faster and faster and becomes more and more complex. The things, as you can see on the left-hand side of this picture, the desktop in the 80s and the 90s perhaps looked this way. The desktop in most offices today, they look this way. It's just one device that comes up with all the functionality, with all the skills and with all the possibilities that would have required 10, 20, 40 years ago, all the things like a telephone, like a computer, like a fax machine, like a filofax, and so on and so on. So it becomes all more complex, it becomes all faster and faster. And so what we can say from that is everything develops in a very high speed. So if we think and if we talk about digital transformation, what we see is two factors are influencing this trend of digital transformation. The one hand side is technology itself and the trends around technology. And on the other hand, we see that users are in a more powerful position. Users can decide. Users are part of the decision-making game. So let's have a look at that. If we talk about development of technology, I just selected a few examples here. If you just think about 3D printing or solar power or DNA sequencing or industrial robotics, we see a huge development in the technological capabilities what we see. So for instance, from 2007 to 2014, 3D printing, it costed $40,000 to own such a printer. Nowadays, or as you can see, the figures are from 14, it's just around $100 to just buy such a 3D printer device. And so in many areas, we see this rapid transformation, we see this exponential development that capabilities and technology are increasing so fast and progressing so fast. And on the other hand, we see a decrease in costs so that it's possible for almost everyone to make use of this technology and to base your business and to base your processes and your technology on this new capabilities. So for instance, if we think about computing power, all of you know about Moore's law. If you think about computing power, it's increasing in an exponential way. Coming from the 80s and 90s and predicting up to 2050, the sky is the limit. Now we see technology is growing so fast, and on the other hand, as I just said, cost is decreasing in the other way around. So it's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and you can do more with that you could in the past. Just compare how much computing power is in your smartphone device. It's way more than the Apollo mission in the 60s maybe had. So technology increases in an exponential way and cost is going down the other way around. So these two come together and create the situation that we can experience today. If you then think of our human beings, thinking about the world and thinking about our future, thinking about our own development, we are thinking in a linear way. So we are born, we are raised up, we go to school, we maybe go to university or do some other kind of development and training and education. And then maybe we get married, we get children. So it's a linear thinking, a linear way of thinking and seeing the world around us, but the world around us behaves. So this is where we see, and maybe you are laughing about that, we see here the German angst point, right? So we see the development, our own thinking is linear, and the world around us, the environment we are facing and we are experiencing is growing exponentially. So this is something, there's a clash. Right? We see that these things are coming against us. If we think of technology and trends, we have so much seen the past few years. We've seen the rise of machine learning. If you think of smart homes, you're coming home and the technology around you just notice that you're there and switching on the light and going up the heating and playing the music that you want to hear, that you're used to hear. We know of the Alexas and Siris and all the other voice controls. Just remember, a few years ago, nobody had voice control in their cars. Now it's normal to drive a car and tell your car, please play the music or just make a phone call for me. Now that's becoming the new normal. Talking about digital twins, so digital representation of the machine that you deliver to your customer, that you can see what is the configuration in this machine, that when the customer calls in, that you can have a comparison between what is delivered to them and what you've built for them. Then hyper-automation. Everything we see is getting more automated and it's working together. We see robotics, we see this production plants working in a almost completely automated way with very few human beings there having the power and having the control over it. Jumping to the left-hand side, augmented reality. Again, it's going to become the new normal. We see the technicians going out to the customer side, having all the information at their fingertips or in their digital glasses so that they can see have looks at the machines they are working on and see all the information and all the help that their colleagues in the office, in the headquarters can provide to them. So you can make use of the collective knowledge that the whole organization has in place. I think the example in the bottom line in the middle, very few of you might know this. So Fujitsu, now everybody knows Fujitsu. Fujitsu, they were great at producing transistors, producing digital parts for computers. So they were good at maintaining clean rooms. But they've seen we have a lot of the space, and a lot of the space is just left alone. We are not producing any longer in this large scale. So what they did is, we are good at maintaining clean rooms, so why not produce lettuce in these rooms? Now, why not grow vegetables within it? Because we are good at providing technology that keeps the temperature at the same level, humidity at the same level, and so on. And they are providing this kind of technology to agriculture industry and provide them with the technology to run better greenhouses. So again, with the technology we see in place and with the quick and fast developments that we've seen in the past, new business models come up and technology companies are able to just jump into new markets. I said two main factors are influencing digital transformation. We just talked about technology. Now let's have a look at users and their decision-making power. Just because we as companies are good at producing technology does not mean that our users are loving it. Yeah? Just providing technology does not mean they will accept it. They will take it for granted. So we have to look at customer value and providing customer value and not just looking at what is possible with technology. Now we have to make sure that we're really good and that we're really good at understanding what our customers are really in need. The second thing I think is, and everybody, I hope so, made the same experience and same observation, the world has turned around. The most important person often is me. Yeah, it's the iPhoto generation. In the past, we were taking pictures of the celebrities. Nowadays, it's important to have the celebrity in the picture, but me in the front. So everybody is more focused on themselves rather than on the other things. So the important persons are me. The other thing you maybe as a company, as organizations seen as well, social media and getting feedback, even if you don't want it. So you get feedback from your customers, you get feedback from your clients, even if you did not ask about it. So this again is a trend that we see, that customers are getting more and more powerful and being able to influence the way we are conducting business. And again, talking about value, talking about innovation, we often come up with innovative ideas and users, they just go the other way around, like in this picture. No? They are not using our innovation, but they're taking the shortcut and making other or using our technology in other ways that we intended them to do so. I found this in, I think it was 2017, a book from a Belgian professor called Steven van Belchem. And he made the hypothesis that it's not enough to just talk about digital transformation, but you have to be good at human relationships as well. So if you look in the left bottom quadrant, you see weak both at digital transformation, digital capabilities and human capabilities. So you're not having good relationship with your customers, the end is near. No, there's little hope for you. You're going to die fast within your market. If you're having good relationship with your customers, are weak and digital transformation, maybe you're strong enough today, but possibly not enough tomorrow. If you focus on digital transformation alone and not maintaining good relations to your customers, you will be in a fighter's market, because digital then becomes a commodity. Everybody has digital and everybody has digital capabilities. So not maintaining human capabilities and human relationships while being transformed in a digital way is not enough. So what he says, it takes both. You need digital transformation to become or maintain successful and competitive in the future. And I think that's true. So looking at us, at our companies, at the clients we are talking with, when we talk about digital transformation services, our goal is to make customers successful, to really understand what they need, to really provide good products, good services, and good solutions. And if there are problems with our solutions, we want to remediate the incidents, the issues they have with that. We want to make service outages shorter, now that they become productive again. We want to reduce the effort they have working with us, working with our products. So in the end, we want to maximize the realized value that from the products that they've bought and leased and licensed already from us. So we want to maximize the realized value for them. In order to do so, what we have to do, we as providers of services, we have to provide complete, verified, up-to-date knowledge. So the knowledge about the products we have, the knowledge about the problems our customers are having with our products. So we have to provide the answers to our customers' problems very quickly. And that's the case. So for everything we know already, because the customer has told us, we have to provide quick solutions for this. So everything that we already know has to be provided to our customers very fast. So in order to do so, we have to make it easy for our employees to document the knowledge. Yeah. So for some customers we are talking to, they think, oh, this is magic. Then this is magic. How should we do that? Provide knowledge to our customers in a fast way. How should we do that? So if we think of it, if we think of customer value, and regardless in which industry you are, regardless whether you are in IT or in machinery or whatever industry, it's all about meeting the expectations of your customers. Whether you're going to provide them with new capabilities, whether you're to lowering the effort dealing with you, if you're just providing good experience, what we can see always is expectations are going up and are going up. So if we talk about customers having issues with the solutions we provide, it means there's an erosion of the value we promise to deliver. And again, ask yourself, what are you doing if you have a problem with technology? The first thing you do is take your smartphone, go to the internet, and try to Google something. Try to find yourself your own. So it's about self-service, about going to portals, going to Google, maybe looking for a solution within a community, talking to other users that having the same or similar problems. In the end, maybe you're ending up at the customer website trying to chat with a bot or even chat with a human, but sometimes all that's in the end at your hand is to open a case, to open a ticket, to open an incident, however you call it. So if we want our customers become more productive or have the unproductive period of time being shorter, what we have to do is provide them with solutions with our knowledge and to minimize this erosion of the value. So if all we do today is handling customer cases within our ticket system, maybe we should think about having a chat robot or chat functionality on our website. Maybe we should think about maintaining communities, facilitating the discussion between our customers and make them talk to each other and then find the right solution, even with our help. Or we should come up with a self-service portal where customers can look in our already known documentation and can then look for services and look for the solution for the problems they know. In the end, regardless whatever we do, we can learn from these interactions with our customers. We are getting more data, we are getting more information about user behavior, and we can use this data to come up with digital automation, which then in turn leads to the ability to detect, to predict, or even repair without the customer knowing about it. Maybe in the future we are able to repair a system before the customer even notices that it's damaged, that it's going to be damaged, maybe the next day or so. So this is what we think about. We need to reduce erosion because we've paid already, our customers paid already for it, they bought already the solution from us. So if you then think about the role of our service agents or service technicians, for instance, whatever you have in your company, we think that everything that can be automated in the future will be automated. So all the activities about the known issues, they can be automated. So where should be the shift? The shift should be that we come up with ideas how to provide value to our customers with new things, with more complex issues, with new models, with new offerings, and so on. So we think the role of the co-workers within our organization, it will shift towards being a knowledge worker. So where empathy, where learning, the collaboration, creation of knowledge, sharing of knowledge becomes more important than today. So this is what we think, and this is what we predict. So I think we can agree on that having the right people on board is a success factor here. That's pretty much the same that Gartner said in 2018. They predicted the key to delivering digital value at scale is having the right people. So it's not just about the skills, people must have the desire and aptitude to exploit existing emerging technologies. So this is what they said in 2018. And again, what they said as well is all the use of new technology only takes place if you're good at managing your knowledge. So they predicted throughout 2020, 99 or almost every project within ITSM that deals with artificial intelligence, the robots, machine learning, whatever you take it, it will fail because we do not have an established knowledge management foundation. So this is what we are dealing with. This is what our consultancy focuses on. So we come up with a methodology called knowledge-centered service. And this is especially at this right-hand side, the so-called source loop. This is what we deal with. We want to provide knowledge very fast. So this methodology comes with a way that captures existing knowledge or the knowledge that just comes up through the interaction with our customers. It structures this, it prepares for reuse, and it allows to improve the knowledge whenever we make reuse of that. So this is what knowledge-centered service is about. I'm not going into detail here, just take this for granted. This methodology is good for managing existing knowledge and being able to make reuse of what we already know. So the organization behind this methodology, it's a consortium for service innovation. They say in a mature KCS environment, knowledge-centered service, in a mature environment, 90% of what we collectively know can be available to our customers on the self-service portal within 90 minutes. Just think about that. 90% of what we collectively know is available to customers within 90 minutes because we are so good at capturing, maintaining, and improving the knowledge within this world of KCS. Okay, this is what I said about existing knowledge. That's documented already, but just think about it. People and customers are not just asking about the known problems, they are asking about new problems as well. So if we look at current organization models of service organizations, we see this level structure, this tiered model, as you know it, level 1, level 2, level 3, whatever you call it. It's based on silos, it's based on hierarchy, it's based on directive management. And it makes it very frustrating for our customers dealing with new issues because this hierarchy and this tiered model, it's slow. It's based on escalation. It's based on waiting for the next level to take over. So dealing with new issues is very difficult with this way to work. So this organization model does not work. So what we come up with is a new methodology called intelligence warming. So we want to get away from the silos and hierarchy thinking. We want to understand our service organization as being a network of people knowing each other and knowing about what they know and what they are good at. So we want to get away from directed work to a volunteer-based model. So whether people opt in to help. We want to get away from linear processes. We want spontaneous and self-organized work. Remember, I was talking about this new work bubble in one of the first slides, self-organized. This is the way knowledge workers are going to work today. So getting away from escalations, working in a collaborative environment, working together with the others on a spontaneously and self-organized way. And we want to get rid away from the old KPIs. We do not want to measure activities and put goals on activities. We want to focus on customer value. So this is what these both methodologies are based on. For both worlds, we need a new kind of personnel. We need new stuff. We need people that are so-called T-shaped. And you see this here in this picture. T-shaped means they have deep knowledge in a certain area, maybe in 2 or more. They are subject matter experts in these areas, but they have a broad perspective as well. So they are good generalists. So they can look left and right from their own domain and can talk to others that come from other domains. It needs both. It needs creativity and productivity. So we need broad and deep knowledge combined in one person. That's why we say it needs this so-called T-shaped people. And if you talk to business leaders in HR departments, they say the main challenge we are focusing today is staff development, getting the right people on board, training them, getting them proficient and productive. And if you look at the famous Gallup research, we see that companies use less than 40% of the skills they already employ. They have the right people on board that they do not know what they know because they never asked them about them. They hired them for a certain profile, for a certain role, and did not ask what else beyond of that do you already know. So that's the reason why the majority of our workforce is disengaged. They do not engage with the intent of our business. They do not engage and do not share the same vision that our company maybe have. So, and as Peter Drucker said, knowledge work volunteers and treat them as volunteers, you cannot buy their motivation with money. Now you have to make sure that you have an environment where they really can do the things that they care about. This is what voluntary work looks like. Hang on. So maybe you have read it, maybe not. The famous book of Daniel Pink, Drives, the surprising truth about what motivates us. He found out that knowledge workers, so people doing cognitive work, they are motivated by three things. It's mastery, autonomy, and purpose. Mastery means getting better in something that you already want to know, or where you want to grow, where you want to learn. Autonomy, I do have the choice. I'm part of the decision-making process, so I'm part of the game. It's not just thrown upon over the fence and I have to deal with that. And purpose means something I really care about. So doing the work that means something to me. Now, these are the three motivators he found out. This is what really motivates cognitive, so-called knowledge workers. So if we look at companies today, the observations we make is that people tend to collaborate, even though we create organizations and org models where it keeps them from collaborating. So even if we make it difficult for them to work across the silos and across the fences, they tend to collaborate because that's the normal way to work together. And we have to ask ourselves, can we use and optimize this trend and this trend to working in a collaborative and self-organized way? I think we can. So if we look at these projects and these implementations of new methodology, we have to make our customers very sure about, we are talking about organizational change. We're not talking about just another IT project. So we are asking our knowledge workers to behave in a different way. We want them to search in the knowledge base first, even though if they think they know the answer already, because if they not search, they are not able to learn what their co-workers know already about the thing. Now, they are not making use of the collective knowledge we have in the organization. So we want to change the organizational culture into a learning and sharing environment. And therefore, our C-level, our CEOs, CFOs, and so on, they have to invest. They have to spend money for tools, for methodology, for training, for coaching. They have to make sure that this new environment, this new culture can develop. And the middle management, the team leaders, they must enable coaching. They must get the free time and the free room for people to getting coached. And we need new KPIs. We want to get away, as I said, measuring activities, counting tickets, counting calls. We want to make sure that we really focus on creating value. Therefore, we have to understand what's the total demand for support. We have to make sure that we understand where our people, our customers are really going for support. Are they calling the service desk? Are they looking in the self-service portal, or are they just asking in the community? And how successful are our customers with our self-service offerings? How's the relationship between new and known questions in the service desk? If we have the answer already in the self-service portal, why are they still calling? Maybe the service portal is not good enough for them. Maybe they do not find the right answer there. So we have to make sure that we get new measurements in place, that we really understand our business. And this is why I said we have to make sure that we really understand how to manage your knowledge and you manage your personnel in the digital transformation area. So important principles, like we see, are both applying to KCS and the swarming world. We see it's all based on trust. We have to trust our people. They have to trust us, that we're really certain about what we are dealing with them. We want to empower them. We want to motivate them. As I said, treat them as being volunteers. We have to make sure that we really create value and not just counting activities. We have to make sure that we only deal with those cases that customers are really asking for, not providing knowledge just in case somebody asks about it, but only about the cases customers are really asking about, because that's what's important to them. And we always have to remember, knowledge is some of the few resources where we have abundance. The more we share, the more we learn. It's not about scarcity. It's my knowledge I do not share. It's about abundance. The more we share, the more we learn. And therefore, I would say, if we think about managing knowledge within digital transformation, and if you want to be successful with digital transformation, 80% should be people and 20% should be technology. So that's been a very fast ride through the area of what we're dealing with. If you want to learn more, as I said, both models, both methodologies come from an organization called Consortium for Service Innovation. Have a look there. All the material is under a Creative Commons license, so you can have a look yourselves. If you need some help with that, feel free to ask us. That's what we're there for. That's the end of my presentation. If you have questions, I'm happy to deal with that. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Kai, for this very interesting presentation. I do have a couple of questions myself, but I would leave up to the audience. If they have anything to ask you, please go ahead.
Sure, feel free.
Right. Yeah, concerning implementing knowledge management, I mean, I have a couple of experience with that, and most of the time the IT service manager or the service desk manager has a good idea of what he wants to do. Processes are implemented, knowledge is being filled in knowledge databases, and after half a year, people lose interest and it's not being updated. So what is your experience here, and how can you overcome something like that?
Yeah, that's very common. That's what many of our customers and clients say. Hey, we've bought this new tool, we've bought this wiki, we've bought this whatever, you name it. And like you said, in the beginning, they were very enthusiastic and started with it, but then it goes down. So enthusiasm goes away and nobody makes use of that. And if you ask the people, why do not use the knowledge base? They say, oh, I do not find. Oh, okay. Why don't you find anything? Because nothing's in there. Okay, so if you are not using it, if you're not writing something into it, it's clear to me why you can't find anything. And the other answer is why they don't use the knowledge base. There's too much junk in it. All the duplicates, all this hay. Now we cannot find the needle because there's so much hay in it. I said, okay, what's the mistake here? So the companies decided to throw everything they had already regarding documentation, manuals, handbooks, whatever, every kind of product specifications. They put it just into this knowledge base. And as I said, it has to be based on demand and usage. So if we put documentation into the knowledge base that's not based on demand, chances are high that people are not going to find anything. Because with this KCS model, it was very short. I wasn't able to explain it in detail. So we are making sure that in the capturing practice, we make sure that we write down the documentation. So what we've learned from our customer, we put it down in the same words like the customer mentioned it. So this way, we make sure that a similar customer from the same audience will probably use the same words and therefore is more successful in finding the right content, the relevant content. And if you're finding the right content, the relevant content, you're going to repeatedly use the knowledge base. So if you have success with it, you're going to use it. If you don't success this, you're not going to use it. If you're not using it, there's no content. So it's a chicken egg problem, right?
Okay, so how you go in your projects you have been establishing, how you are making the organization to actually update the knowledge and make sure it's always the actual reflecting the actual situation. How are you doing that? Right.
Again, this is part of this methodology. As I said, it's all based on demand and usage. So unlike in other companies where you see we have this knowledge base with all this content, with all these articles, once a year, once a quarter, whatever, they go through this knowledge base and try to update every article. And it's a lot of work and it's frustrating because you never know if some of these articles are ever getting asked again for by customers. So in the KCS world, we are going in a different direction. We say we only update articles if customers are asking again for it. So we are moving the responsibility for the quality of the article to the knowledge worker. They interact with the customers, they write the article, and every time a customer calls again, or another customer calls again, and asks for the same matter, we take this article that we found based on the search terms that the users just provided to us. We find the right article and have a look at that. Oh, is it still up to date? Is it still complete? Is it still valid? And before we sending out to the customer, we are doing all the updates, right? So we are asked again, we are updating in the moment of use, and we take over the responsibility to sending out only correct, complete, valid documentation. And that's the reason why we are able to update the knowledge part that's actually asked for, and not spending time for the articles that nobody is asking for.
I see. And this knowledge worker you just mentioned, is that a team in the organization, or is that the second role, kind of? I'm working for the second level organization, and as a second role I have knowledge worker, or how is that organized?
Mm-hmm. So it depends. So if you're talking about, for instance, an IT service department, and you're providing IT service desk functionality for your users within your organization, then that's the role that you already have. You're working for the service desk. So if you're looking at organizations providing service for external paying customers, it's the support organization. No? It's the guys and girls working in support already and providing services to customers, talking to customers over the phone, dealing with the tickets they're sending through mail or web, whatever. It's the same personnel, it's the same stuff. We are changing the role of the people working in support, becoming knowledge workers.
Oh, I see.
Right? And not just, please, so-called in quotation, not just providing support, but doing the documentation as well. Because what we see in other companies in the past is that we have the support agents using the knowledge base, and we have something like an editing team creating all the content for it. Yeah. And it's always the bottleneck, because we have so much content here, and the editing team do not have enough time to create the new content. Yeah. This way we are doing it. We say the knowledge workers, the support agents, they create the content because they have the interactions with the customers. They know what they want. They know what they need. They are able to capture the context and the question and put it in a well-structured, organized article and put it in the knowledge base, and everybody can see that and make reuse of that.
So I guess if you talk to a second line organization supporter, then you often have the problem that they don't really feel themselves as being an editor, and they can't express themselves in the way that you wanted to publish something. I mean, there is a lot of obstacles, I suppose, in such kind of projects.
Exactly. So in my experience, talking to customers and prospects, we often see the support engineers, they think that they can write, but it's often their bosses, their team leads, their managers say, oh no, our people they cannot write. They are good at talking to the customer over the phone, but they cannot write. And I always ask them the question, so your people are talking to the customer over the phone? Yes. So are you sitting next to them, making sure that they are not telling the customer anything wrong? No, of course not. So if you trust them talking to the customer in a live situation on the phone, why not trust them that they're able to write? Where's the beat?
Yeah, good point. Good point. One more question. I mean, is there anybody else which wants to ask a question? Otherwise, I'll give my last one out here. How is it cost-wise when you had some projects like that? Is that, could you say it's an addition cost, or is that does that reduce some kind of workload?
It does.
Because of self-service, and it comes out level, or what's your experience here?
So as with any other IT-related project, of course, you have to invest. You have to provide training. You have to provide some initial training costs to your staff to make sure that they really understand how these processes are supposed to work. Then maybe your technology is not able to support the processes. Maybe you need to ticket them, you need a knowledge base, a combination of that whatsoever. No? But we see that over time, the amount of time that is saved here, because we can make reuse of existing knowledge, that leads to save potential here, and leads to a situation where you can create more capacity with the staff you already have. So we're not saying we are going to save some money here. Now, if you calculate the business case, if you try to calculate the ROI, that's always positive. But we are not saying we are going to save something here, because some people come to the idea, oh, saving money means reducing headcount, and that's not what we're going to do.
Okay.
Because we want to make sure we create additional capacity with the staff we have. So without being forced to hire new people, we are able to deal with more tickets, with more cases.
Okay, thank you very much, Kai.
I see there's a question. There's a question regarding the self-service portal. Yeah. Thanks for the question, Tina. KCS can improve the situation. So when you create knowledge with a knowledge-centered service approach, it leads to a knowledge base that's full of valuable content. And once you have enough content in your knowledge base, you can decide to open it up to your customers, put it to a self-service portal, and then make sure that they find these articles, as I said, that are written in the language of the customers, in the same terms, in the same language that customers would ask for problems. So it's likely that they will find a solution in the portal. And therefore, doing KCS is a good preparation to coming up with a self-service portal.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I thank Kai again for this extensive know-how sharing from you concerning the digital transformation. And at this point, thank you again and goodbye.
Thanks, Peter, for having me and for the opportunity to talk about KCS. Bye.